Hey everyone, it's Cindy Kaza, and you're listening to the Paranormally Zone.
Look, I know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
A ghostly apparition in the dark of night.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Patrick, how are you doing today? I have a question for you, and I want you to really think about this. What would you do? What would you do? And how would you handle it? And I know this can be it's kind of a hard question because you really can't put yourself into this situation fully unless it actually happened. But if you were abducted by aliens, brought upon a ship, and you slowly come to consciousness, and above you are these large-headed aliens with the black almond eyes staring at you with these silvery, shiny instruments, how would you handle that? Besides wetting yourself.
Ow!
I mean, yeah.
It's really lame.
No, thank you. You're calling me lame? We're not even a minute into the episode.
No, you haven't answered my question.
Well, if I looked up and I saw the big bulbous, balding gray heads,
bulging, beastly,
bulging, balding, bulbous heads. Well, obviously I wouldn't do not that, regardless if I was clothed or not, because I've heard different versions, in all sincerity, I think I would I'm assuming I will be in some sort of state of sedation, maybe, or I may not be able to perhaps move at my free will. Maybe I am
be claustrophobic.
Well, yes, I would be feeling claustrophobic. Now, how close would they be lingering above?
Be right in your face, because they got looking right into your soul through your eyes.
Good Lord!
I got a feeling for you.
Now, if they said that,
yeah,
then I would start to wonder if I was aboard a ship or just having a wonderful, wonderful lucid dream with Christopher Walken in it.
And you go.
And his silly pals from The Deer Hunter. Or whatever.
From The Deer Hunter.
I
haven't seen that movie in decades.
Yeah. Well, obviously I'd be terrified. I mean, there's no way around that.
And there's no way of actually, like I said, there's no way of actually being able to answer that question. I mean,
no. And honestly, I hope to hell I'd never have to answer that question based upon experience. And to a large extent, I feel greatly. I empathize with those who have allegedly endured such a event in their life. And I'm sorry, I keep smacking my lips. It's dry season here, Mike, and so I'm getting. I'm feebly and I'm dry, but
the humidity is so high right now. It's just wet and rainy here. It's been.
It is. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But again, impossible to answer. It really is. I can only assume that it would not be an enjoyable awakening for sure. But who knows? Right. Maybe we'll become best friends and start, playing Scrabble or something, or cribbage.
Cribbage.
Yeah, cribbage aboard a mothership.
I'm sure they have their own cribbage board.
Yes, and cribbage pegs. Maybe the pegs also serve as probing instruments of sort.
You feel like you're starting to think. I think I may be dreaming that I'm in the proctologist's office,
right?
prone on this table,
Yes.
No,
And
but
obviously, wow, yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Again, Christopher Walken. I would
Yep.
feel safe if Mr. Walken was with me. He would be kind of my spirit guide, even though he's still alive.
Yeah. So carrying on with this, people are at the point right now of get on with it.
Get on with it. Get on. Yeah, damn it. Oh, here we go. What are they saying?
Get on with it.
Yeah, there we go. That one was way too loud. How about this one?
Yes, get on with it.
That one was even louder. I am sorry. Every one of our listeners is now deaf. I really need to adjust that. Delete those and re-record them. But if in case our wonderful listeners couldn't guess where we're going, we're talking about an alien abduction case tonight, an alleged alien abduction, and we are looking forward to a fantastic, deep conversation about that. Well, definitely fantastic from the point of view of our enjoyment. Maybe not deep, but we shall see. Those of you who may be new to the program, believe it or not, yes, we do get new listeners. My name is Patrick, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host with the ghosts, the paranormal poster boy himself. Well, I guess his name's Sparky tonight, Mr. Michael Carbno. And
That's right, dildo head.
Yeah, hey. Thank you.
Well, I'm just reading your name tag there.
Yeah. Well, and this is, if you're looking for all things paranormal, strange, and mysterious, this is the place to be. Of course, this is the Paranomaly Zone, and we thank you all for being here. Boy, I'm rusty. I totally screwed up the entire intro, but I got to the point.
Yes, you did.
But before we dive into this alleged incident, very well known, yes, we're going to talk about the Travis Walton incident, infamous in the world of alien believers and non-believers and skeptics and pseudo-skeptics alike. Mike and I have kind of gone back and forth on this subject, definite arguments in favor of it being legit and definite arguments in favor of it being not so much, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I have found out new stuff that I have never heard of before. I don't know how long ago this came out, but the whole fire tower thing. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But before we go any further, Mike, man, we lost a big one within the last 10 days.
We did.
We're very, 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 very saddened to learn of the passing of the great Jeff Meldrum. I was going to say late great. It just doesn't seem right to say that, but unfortunately that is true. Yeah, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Mike, a guest on the Paranomalies Zone. We were so lucky to talk with him.
Yeah,
and huge name.
Meet him, and we met him.
Yes,
wonderful.
Huge name in not only the world of cryptozoology, but in science, Mike. The man was a brilliant anthropologist who scientifically argued for the existence of Sasquatch. I always say to people who joke, and snicker, or, kind of under their breath giggle at you if you kind of mention that, I think there's a possibility that Bigfoot is out there. And they're like, oh my gosh, what a buffoon you must be. How many times buffoon I have referenced them, or I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to give you a book that I have written by a gentleman named Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and I encourage you highly to read said book. I'm not saying you will change your mind, but you may perhaps at least come out with an open mind about the possibility of Sasquatch being legit. But man, that was a shock, and so sad to hear he passed away after apparently a very brief battle with brain cancer.
Right, yeah.
Terrifying.
Very aggressive brain cancer.
Especially after he overcame his incident, his health incident, a little over a year ago on the cruise ship for the Bigfoot cruise, and he seemed, Mike, when we met him in person last year at the Bigfoot conference, he was so happy to be there. You could just tell.
Yeah. Oh, you could tell. Yeah.
He loved meeting everybody, and he was so generous. And we had to send out our sympathies and condolences to his family. And man, just really, really bummed to hear about that. What a guy. So honored to have actually spoken with him. So
yeah, absolutely. And what a beard.
Yes, of course. Again, we joke so much. If we could combine our physical elements of all of our guests we've ever spoken with. Obviously, we'd start with Mikio Kaku's hair and Jeffrey Meldrum's beard. But
it would be perfect combination.
Immaculate. Absolutely immaculate. Well, you know what?
Or if Mickey Yukaku had Dr. Meldrum's beard.
Oh,
or
wow. See,
if
now we're
Dr.
getting
Meldrum
crazy.
had Mickey Yukaku's hair.
Or how about this? How about Dr. Meldrum had Dustin Perry's hair?
Yeah,
or,
there you go.
Or Jason Hawes' lack of hair. Yeah. So, anyways, sorry.
Back to it.
R.I.P. Definite, sincere rest in peace to Mr. Jeffrey Meldrum.
Very much.
Do you have any parting thoughts on Mr. Meldrum, Mike? Or shall we dive into the topic at hand?
No, Patrick, you did fine.
I did.
With your eulogy of Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and I do not want to step on that. I don't want to. You did great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Mike, the Travis Walton incident. My goodness gracious. Subject of let's put it this way, highly controversial, right?
From day one, of course.
And I still don't know why I do this. This is an audio episode, so people don't realize this. I don't know why when I'm emphasizing something, I lean towards the laptop.
Yeah, it's like you do that, and on the screen, it's like you were right in my space.
Talk about bulbous heads.
I feel like I need to start backing up.
No, so here he comes. Oh my gosh.
Patrick's gone in for a lip lock and kiss.
I know.
No.
PK in 3D. That's terrifying.
Anyway.
Well, Travis Walton incident, in case anyone was not familiar with this, and chances are if you're listening to this program, you are familiar, but we're going to run through the nuts and bolts of it and share our own hypotheses and theories and opinions before the show is over. And people are probably already wishing, God damn, I wish it was over right now. But it's not. You got to endure this a little bit longer.
I didn't want to say anything, but dang it. Oh, never mind.
Dang. Well, you can't just leave me hanging out there. What were you going to say?
Nothing. I was just wishing the show was over myself. That's just throwing that
really?
point. Well, jokingly, get on with it.
Too late for that.
Too late for apologies now. Just Travis Walton, though.
So the incident, Mike, and again, Mr. Walton has been sharing this story since the late 70s. And in his favor, I will say for the most part, his story has not wavered. Right?
Since 1975, actually.
Yes. I'm thinking about when he published his book. When he first, I think that was late 70s. We'll get to the facts here in a
78,
second.
I believe it was.
The details,
anyway,
I should say.
Yeah.
His story has not wavered for the most part. And you and I, for years, have always said, that really adds credence to someone's story. It really does. Because if it's totally made up and fabricated, and you retell the story over and over and over throughout the years, you're going to slip up once in a while.
Sure.
The story's going to change. Key elements are going to be different.
There will be holes.
There shall be holes. That sounds like the 14th commandment or something.
Thou shalt not have holes. Anyway. Good Lord.
Oh man, I got to get that on the sound bar. There shall not be holes. Okay, anyways. Hey, it's Friday. I'm in a good mood. It's been a long week at work, and Mike's feeling excited about returning to the podcast world. So here we go.
Yeah, it's been a tough week for me of retirement. Oh, man.
Hey.
Anyway.
Travis Walton incident, Mike, as it has become known, as it has come to be known, I should say, was an alleged alien abduction of Travis Walton, an American forestry worker, which allegedly occurred, as you mentioned, back in 1975 on November 5th.
A young man in his early 20s, I believe it was.
Yes, absolutely.
Very early 20s at the time.
Took place in the Sitgreaves National Forests, which are near Heber, Arizona.
Heber.
Now, it's widely regarded as a hoax. Mike and I have long been leaning towards it being legit, and we shall see where we sit at the end of this conversation. But for the most part, even people who do believe in aliens and alien abductions, the Travis Walton story A lot of people have been calling it a bunch of hooey since the 70s.
Very. Yeah.
And I will say, too, when you write a book about an alleged occurrence that happened to you, just memorize what you wrote in the book, and your story will never change. See, I'm already backtracking on the his story never wavered. Well, yeah, he wrote it down. He has it right in front of him. Not that he carries his book along with him for every interview, but you get what I'm saying.
He's got his own cliff notes somewhere up his sleeve.
Yes,
that little tiny pocket that you have inside of your front pocket of your jeans. It's just a little rolled up little scroll-like thing, cliff notes.
Probably his alien cliff notes.
Yes. It was a gift. Anyway, go ahead.
Back in the day, back in 1975, Walton was then employed, as we mentioned, as a member of a forestry crew, employed by his future brother-in-law,
yes,
Mike Rogers. And they were, in fact, I've heard them described a lot as actually being best friends.
Yeah, they were pretty close. Yeah.
And then, you become a brother-in-law. If you're best friends or not, well, you tend to know each other to some extent. Now, on October 20th, Mr. Mike Rogers acknowledged in writing that their contracted job, cutting down a heck ton of trees, right, had fallen seriously behind schedule. And they were fearing that they would not reach their deadline, and therefore they would not get paid. And I believe, would they not have to end up paying back the Forestry Service, or their contractual obligations would make them pay back?
That's very
Or
possible.
Am I absolutely incorrect on that one?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, so I shouldn't have said it. That's okay. That's what we do here in the Paranormal Zone. Now, that night, November 5th, of course, has gone down in UFO alien abduction history. But it was, in fact, the night, as I mentioned earlier, of October 20th, where the story goes, Travis and Mike actually watched the, quote, UFO incident, a movie about the alleged abduction of one Barney and Betty Hill.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid. It was pretty awesome. The great...
Oh, you do? You do?
Great James Earl Jones and Estelle Parsons.
Yes, of course.
Estelle Parsons, yeah. Excellent movie.
Now, it is reportedly alleged again that after watching this broadcast, Travis began discussing about the possibility of being taken aboard a flying saucer. I've also read of stories, insinuations that both Travis and Mike Rogers and Travis's brother, Dwayne, were all, quote unquote, like UFO fanatics.
Right.
Now,
yeah.
before any of this went down, take that for what you will. I get that just because you believe in ghosts doesn't mean when you see one, it makes it less legit. So,
right.
Just because they believe in the possibility of UFOs doesn't mean that their abduction was any less legit. Right? Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Their alleged abduction. Now, I want everyone out there to play a drinking game. Every time the word alleged is shared in this podcast, I want you to take a shot of whatever the hell you have in front of you. Preferably some sort of numbing agent. That helps you get through the show. I'm telling you that right now. Feel free to interject anytime, Mike, by the way. This is not going to be story time with Patrick, so jump in at any time with your wisdom.
We never have episodes that it turns into story time with Patrick.
I don't know about that.
Well, okay. I don't either.
How about you, Chris Walken?
I don't know.
Yeah,
see, he knows. He's a lot smarter than we are.
He's wily. Good old wily Walken.
He's got more money, that's for sure.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that.
Yeah.
Now, on November 5th, the forestry crew reported that Travis had gone missing. They told the story of driving back after sunset when Mike Rogers stopped the truck and Walton walked into the forest towards an overhead light. This was after a long day of work of cutting down trees. And yeah, that's a hard-ass job. There's no denying that.
I couldn't imagine.
Hard labor for sure. The crew claimed that Walton, when walking closer to said light in the sky, was illuminated by a beam of light, which was projected down upon Travis. Believed to... let me recant that. After the light beamed down on Mr. Walton, After about, 10 or 15 seconds, the crew then reported that Travis was blasted back into the air, like almost like a 10 to 15 foot.
As it appeared on the movie, actually, which was very loosely based, I think.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of the, I'd say about 15 feet or so. But that's another thing too, that number has always changed over the years. We hear the guys telling the story, but I don't care about that. Details like that get kind of blurry. I mean, they've aged 40 plus years since then. What would have been 12 feet of certainty back in 1975, they're gonna maybe forget a little bit in 2025.
It could have been just like a trip or something, or a stumble and a fall.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a good point. That's an absolute good point.
Dang, did you see that man fly? Whoops, I'm okay. And he gets up again. But anyway.
That is another aspect of Walton's story that has never really changed, though, either, because I believe that he says that he remembers hiding behind a stump, like a tree log, on the ground. And then next thing he remembers is being woken up aboard this ship with these beings hovering over him. And we shall get to that. Now, after being illuminated by the beam of light and then being blasted backwards, 10 to however many feet, Mike Rogers and the crew drove away at a high rate of speed, terrified. They claimed to have been absolutely terrified. They thought he was killed. They were assuming that the blast of whatever it was killed him. And out of fear, they took off down this very rocky road, to say the least. Upon returning to civilization, and after sharing their story, police organized search parties. And there's a lot of suspects. There's a lot of suspects out there thinking, what's going on here? What did this crew do? Yeah, Mike, sorry, you were going to interject. Please.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off, but, there's also kind of strange points to the story where they had left, or they stayed at their spot where they were working until it was dark out, which it was said that they never did that. I was gone by like 4:00. And the route that they took to go home wasn't the usual route that they took. This one took them by where the incident happened, which, getting into that crazy theory, the fire tower theory.
Yes.
Did they have to do that to pull this off? Something to think about.
Well, it's, it is said that members of the crew were not in on this. Only certain members. If this was a hoax, only certain members, key members, were in on this. I don't know if that was to add legitimacy to this. I don't know. I mean, again, the believer in me just goes, God, this seems like a hell of a lot of work to.
Yeah.
Like, what what are you truly to gain?
Yeah. To what end is this this whole, elaborate hoax that they would have to put so much pre-thought and pre-planning into? I don't know.
I mean, were there any other quote unquote acts of God, Mike, that they could have thought of to get out of this contractual obligation?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense either. I mean,
it's like, let's think of the most elaborate and crazy, quote unquote, act of God to get out of this.
Yeah. Unless they thought, well, that's something that we can claim, but they can't 100%, check up on that to see how true that could have been,
For sure.
I don't know. It just seems like you said, it's a lot of work to,
a lot of work. As you mentioned, those search parties were organized. Nothing was found. I mean, in all sense of the matter, the crew were suspects. There's something foul was going on here that perhaps for whatever reason they may have done off with Travis. And it was of a highly suggestive opinion that they were going to find his body out there and they were going to arrest these guys for murder. But nothing was found. Nothing was found. 5 days later, Mike, Travis Walton called his sister from a phone booth.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where everything starts getting crazy and weird. And just, unbelievable perhaps, who knows? But then, the money issue starts getting thrown in there right away. The National Enquirer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sold the story.
Forks over some dough.
Mm-hmm.
Sell us your story. We'll publish it. You guys will become, I don't want to say famous, but the story may perhaps become famous. And I cannot speak. I'm getting so riled up about this.
That would be a really cool issue to find if you could find an original issue about
like the original
National
issue.
Enquirer.
I bet you probably could.
That one and Bat Boy, the one with the Bat Boy on the cover.
Well, that wasn't National Enquirer. That was Global News or Weekly World News.
Oh yeah, Weekly World News. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you dare get those two magazines mixed up, mister.
Well, if you're reading one, it's just like reading the other.
And as we mentioned before, in 1978, Travis went on to write his book, The Walton Experience, and then that was eventually adapted into the aforementioned movie Fire in the Sky in 1993.
And he
starring
also
one Robert Patrick. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
He also made $5,000 selling that story to the
Enquirer. Yes,
yeah,
for sure. And so $5,000 back in 1975 was probably
that was 78 when that was
78.
That's a lot of money.
That's like what, 20,000 nowadays, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Oh, geez, yeah. You could have bought a Maverick or something brand new.
You could have bought James Garner. What? Oh, I'm kidding.
Well,
dumb joke that no one gets. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you get? Okay, thank you.
But then again, I'm old and I've watched many James Garner movies from way back.
Now, science writers, I should say, Philip Glass and Michael Shermer highlight a potential motive for the hoax was to provide, as we mentioned, the act of God that would allow the crew to avoid a steep financial penalty. Yeah, there's the penalty I was talking about from their forestry service for failing to complete their contract by the deadline. I had read some of the letters that Mike Rogers had written to the Forestry Service beforehand, saying that he was already pretty certain they were not going to be able to meet the deadline, but he was saying he was well undermanned. They just didn't have the manpower, didn't have the time. He says, "But we're working our hardest, we're working our damnedest and stuff."
But look at who's saying this though. Philip Glass, skeptical inquirer.
Yeah, you're not a fan. You're not a fan.
Pure pseudo skeptic. So
for sure.
And they're known to. I'm not. Hey, if you want to be the pseudo skeptic, and that's more power to you. But we've talked about them enough to where we all know that they'll say anything, to prove their point, and it's just maddening sometimes. So
but sometimes, what's the maddening part is that they just say it. They absolutely disagree 195%, but they have no reason for it. They just do
it. Exactly, yeah.
And they have, and you ask them, well, why? Well, why? That's fine if you disagree, but you can't just offhand without any thought just do it because you don't like the idea of alien abduction. So therefore it's not possible. Yeah. Well, that argument doesn't work. So anyways.
Dang it. Now we're going to get really nasty emails and stuff from
Philip Glass. Is he still alive? I don't know if he is or not.
From just pseudo skeptics. I'm sure they love our show. I'm sorry.
I'm sure.
I'm not putting anybody down for what they feel and what they believe or don't believe. So that's fine.
Now in 2021, Mike Rogers made a social media post renouncing his status, Mike, as a witness to Walton's supposed abduction. And this is where it starts getting so wonky for me.
Yeah.
And irritating.
Like a roller coaster.
Oh, it just irritates me so much when stuff like this happens. And after the 2021 interviews with Rogers, researchers proposed that a nearby fire lookout tower and its spotlight were used to create the illusion of a flying saucer shining a beam of light on Walton upon those unsuspecting crew members, right? So they would then serve as believable witnesses to this, quote, act of God, because they weren't in the know. They didn't know that this tower was there. And as you said, they were taking the different route that night for whatever reason. They weren't familiar with the locale really. And all of a sudden, bam, there's this light well hidden by large trees.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that forestry tower? Is it like 200 feet? 200 square
No,
feet?
it was only I think it was only like 80 feet or something like that.
Square feet in the top, or are you talking about the height?
Oh, I was talking about the height. But anyway,
Yeah, I think it's like 200 feet, 200 square feet on the top.
It said it had like a 200 square foot living space, and then it had the the outside rails and everything all the way around, and a office area or something like that. But yeah, it sounded like a pretty neat place. Spend vacations up there and just
let's go hang out in
watch
the
nature
tower
and look for UFOs. Maybe we'll see some more cigar-shaped UFOs.
Now, it should be noted that back in 1972, 3 years before this incident took place, the National Enquirer had in fact been advertising a $50,000 grand prize for proof of extraterrestrial visitors. But by 1975, the prize had doubled to $100,000, which again would be probably equivalent to $500,000 nowadays.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty darn close. Now, how enticing is that?
Yeah, you could buy 2 Mavericks. Who put those out? Was that General Motors or GM or something like that? Or
I don't know, but every time you say that, I just see James Garner in my head.
That was a great show. Good series back in 60s.
Didn't Mel Gibson make a movie called Maverick?
He did.
Was that based upon the same character?
It was, I believe. He played the Maverick character.
Oh, okay.
Crazy Australian.
Also, it should be noted, Travis Walton, born in 1953. I'm not saying that should be noted that he was born in 1953, but on May 5th, 1971, Travis and an associate, Carl Rogers, pleaded guilty to breaking into the offices of the Western Molding Company, stealing company checks and forging and cashing them. The pair were placed on probation for 2 years, after which they were allowed to plead not guilty and, quote, cleanse their records. So, I mean, a little shady business there. Yeah, he's a young guy. 1953, he's not even 20 yet, 18 years old. Mm-hmm. But that's no excuse to start kind of a petty life of crime by forging checks.
Well, a lot of people do it.
Yes, but again, I'm not implying, but I am implying.
But it's peer pressure.
But I'm not implying, but I am implying.
Okay.
That kind of, how do I say this politely? Devious mindset, Mike, was already kind of there, right? Do you get what I'm saying on that? I mean,
yes, I do.
It's like, I'm going to try and pull a fast one on this. I'm going to forge checks. So I'm just saying the capability of maybe something grander is already kind of.
You got to start somewhere.
You just don't go straight to the top of petty crime. Yeah. You got to start somewhere. Travis, age 72 in 1975, was a member of the seven-person forestry crew, as we mentioned before, led by Carl's older brother, Michael. So Mike and Travis had, in fact, known each other for a while. Michael was quite a bit older. Not quite a bit, about 5-6 years. And the year prior, Rogers won a bid for a federal contract to thin out small trees from the aforementioned Sitgreaves National Forest. And he got that by underbidding two other contractors. So he got a fairly decent bid on it. The job required the thinning of 1,277 acres by August of 1975. Now, being aware that he was not going to be able to reach this deadline already, Rogers requested and was granted an extension up until November. However, on October 16th, the Forestry Service inspector visited the site and concluded that the job could not possibly be completed by said deadline. Failure to complete the job would lead to a $2,500 penalty and a disqualification from bidding on future Forestry Service contracts. So again, they're looking at losing quite a bit of money.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And losing out on any potential future jobs.
So
yeah, that's a huge motivating factor if you are believing that this is a hoax, right? But again, can't they think of something better?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's like there's got to be a better way out of it. So, okay, I need to get out of this job. Okay, I'm abducted by aliens. Bam.
Yeah. Well, the thing it boils down to is when you make plans like this of how you're going to do this and what story you're going to come up with, don't be doing the hashish while you're figuring it out.
What are you saying?
I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I don't get it.
What are you implying?
I mean, there's a lot of things in life I don't get, but this is ridiculous.
Of all the things I don't get. Why plan an alien abduction stoned out of your gourd? This doesn't make any sense to me. I mentioned earlier that I'd read some of Mr. Rogers' messages to the Forestry Service. One of them goes as such: I cannot, this is Michael Rogers' his words, I cannot honestly say whether or not we will finish on time. However, we are working every day with as much manpower as I can hire. I will not stop work until the job is finished or until I am asked to stop. I have had considerable trouble keeping a full crew on the job. The area is very thick and the guys have poor morale because of this. We will keep working and trying.
So he's a hard worker with high professional ethics that he's just going to make sure he gets this job done.
Well, trying to. To me, he's like going, well, I don't think we're going to, so I'm going to write you a sob story.
Yeah. And we're going to make a great alien abduction story. It's
and we mentioned earlier that they had both admitted to watching, prior to this incident, the UFO incident movie, starring as Mike New, James Earl Jones as one Barney Hill. And it
wouldn't that be like
yes.
I'm trying to think of the word now. Okay, and I cut you off anyway, so you go ahead.
No, it's fine. No. You finish. You started it. You finish.
It wouldn't it be
that?
Yeah, wouldn't that be like circumstantial evidence at best? I mean,
well, of course, but
it's such a pittance of.
Well, of course it is, but it also it's like, I mean, it's nothing that can be verified or confirmed in a court of law, wherever the hell, however you want to verbalize it. But it's like, well, yeah, I can tell that block is green and that block is red, right? I mean, that's obvious. I showed the judge that block is green, that block is red, but it doesn't matter. I mean, that's circumstantial. Yes. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Mike's like, what the hell are you talking about?
No, I gotcha.
Now, the fact that this film aired, and Travis and Michael both admitted to watching this program, which with, by the way, Travis's mommy, who was also a UFO fanatic. It was a family of fanatics. I mean, take that however you will. And did I mention it earlier that Travis actually told his mom, like, if I don't worry about it, if I happen to be abducted by aliens someday, I'll be back within a few days? Did I mention that yet?
No, and I haven't heard that either before.
Yes. So I mean,
okay.
Wow, it's like, what? I mean, come on.
Circumstantial evidence can keep building up in it until it makes quite an interesting case.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I bumbled and stumbled with my block analogy. It made no sense, but
I got it.
Okay. Thank you for making me. Thank you for trying to appease me in front of our listeners' ears.
Yeah, I got it, and then it left like a freaking tornado.
I know.
Back of my head.
Now, the fact that they watched this movie with mommy and Dwayne, the brother, obviously it leads to speculation that, hey, did this kind of implant a little suggestion into their minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what could we possibly do to get out of this dag-nabbit forestry contract?
And hypothetically speaking, what if...
Yes. Now, psychologists and skeptics argued that after viewing this movie, as we just said, any person with a little imagination could now become an instant celebrity. I wouldn't go as far to say that Travis Walton has become a celebrity.
Well, in his
Mike
own
Rogers,
right.
Definitely not.
Yeah. It's kind of like when Tiffany became a big hit from the mall.
Okay,
I don't know.
You're just slamming Tiffany now. Tiffany was a legit celebrity, right?
Well, Debbie
or
Gibson
is, I should
say.
say.
Got her start in a mall. Back in the 80s, early 80s, they had those mall singers. I don't know. Just look it up someday.
Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry, I thought I had her song on our on our
think
soundboard.
we're alone now.
Yes. Well, I did at one point, but I don't have it anymore. Sorry.
I think we're alone now.
Yep, that one. Sing it again. Come on. Our listeners are enraptured.
Think we're alone now.
And
Okay, follow it up. Follow it up. Don't you know the next line?
No, I don't, and I'm glad I don't. I'm happy with that.
There doesn't seem to be anyone around. Yes.
Well, there you go. Put that as a soundbite.
Mike, I have clear as day memories of little tiny middle schooler Patrick skateboarding at Top Skate here in town, middle school years, with that song pumping over the speakers.
Skate? Isn't that old building downtown where the old skating rink was it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And now it's
really
then it became like the DMV. It's the one that was across the road from this what used to be the school, the big school.
Yeah. I remember that.
Hell yeah, that was a hopping and bopping place. I tell you that.
Well, when I lived there, I just remember it as an empty building, just derelict.
Well, sure.
But
yes.
But what's so funny though, and I may have told this story in an episode years ago, but I remember driving by there one time and somebody had vandalized the front window with spray paint. And they wrote in red spray painted letters, D O O S H douche.
Oh my Lord.
And I tell you, I laughed so hard.
Oh my gosh.
There's a Park Rapidian for you.
Hey, that's a slander towards all Park Rapidians or whatever the hell.
I love Park Rapids and I loved the time that I lived there. I really did.
But yeah, that's bad. I mean, come on. If you're going to be a flippin' vandalizer, at least learn how to spell.
Yeah. D-U-S-H. I mean, it's such a simple word to spell.
It'd be Dush, I think.
Yeah, but, whatever. Yeah. Or, well, 2 U's then.
Okay, you're just burying yourself deeper there. So I know you're being silly. So it's okay. So again, Travis Walton, the celebrity, definitely he's a well-known name in the alien UFO community for sure. I mean, I've reached out to him several times, Mike, in whatever manner presented itself to potentially be a guest on this show. Obviously, I've never heard back from him because I'm not saying this in a disparaging manner, but I really think that he requires moolah to
compensation.
Yes. And we're not in a state to do that right now. We're in the state of Minnesota. Yeah. We don't have the capability of doing that right now.
Yeah. And it's not like he's going to do it if you send him a bag of M&Ms or something.
And he's definitely not doing it after listening to this episode.
Yeah. Substantial cash reimbursement.
So to call him an instant celebrity, definitely not.
But he worked at it, and there goes my dog.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, he did. Well, right. And again, stick-to-itiveness is definitely on his side. I mean, he hasn't changed his story. He's always stuck to his guns. So, I mean, take that for what you will. Now, going into a little bit more detail, Mike. Again, the incident which took place November 5th, 1975. Crew Chief Michael Rogers reported Travis missing to the Navajo County Sheriff. 6 members of the crew claimed that they were driving down a forest road when they saw a lit object above the ground near the road. Now, 6 members of the crew claimed that, or when they say 6 members, that means that there's 7 total. And that's one thing that I've heard a little bit of discrepancy in a couple of Travis Walton's interviews. He changes the number of the crew members from 5 to 6, not counting him.
Right.
So, I mean, again, is that a big deal? I mean, I don't know, but it should be pointed out.
Yeah. It's small, but it should be pointed.
The 6 members of the crew claimed that they were driving down a forest road when they saw a lit object above the ground near the roadway. To their right, I believe. I believe it was towards the east. Travis, in an interview I listened to him, described it, a recent interview actually in like 2024, described it as, you could see the dark outline of basically the mountain, right? In the distance, kind of going in the background, going upward and upward, and the light appeared kind of above that mountain line, so to speak, in the dark, obviously, at night. Now, when they stopped near this object, the crew reported that Travis got out of the truck and ran towards this object, which then shone the light straight on him. They said they drove away in fear, only to return 15 minutes later to find both Walton and the light nowhere to be found.
Why would he oh, look at that? That's really crazy. Should I be frightened? No, I'm going to jump right out and run out there.
Yeah, and again, obviously they're at a complete stop, and you can't stop someone from jumping out and running there. So I get that, especially if this is legit and they're legit terrified, and they're probably screaming at him like, "What are you doing? Get back in the car!" And he's just going, "La la 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 la." I'm running towards the light.
Yeah, like he's running through a sprinkler or something.
Now, it's interesting. The movie Fire in the Sky portrays Travis as very I don't want to say flighty's too strong. Definitely not flighty, but kind of carefree, kind of loosey goosey.
Yeah,
kind of aloof, a dreamer. I think that's how it was. Like, yeah,
right, yeah.
So I mean, again, take that with whatever grain of salt you wish. At 7:45 p.m. of that night, a member of the logging crew called Elsie Ellison, Sheriff Marlon Gillespie, and Deputy Kenneth Copland drove to Heber, Arizona to meet with the loggers. Rogers and two crew members agreed to return to Turkey Springs with the 3 officers, while the 3 other crew members refused to return and instead drove home in Rogers' vehicle. Now, I'm only assuming that those 3 who refused, if you believe that there was a quote-unquote hoax going on, those were the crew members who were not in on the hoax, because they were probably truly terrified, and they're like, we're not going back. That's just my thought, maybe. I could be 100% wrong.
I was interjecting one thing here. I think.
Yes.
Was it?
I need you to interject more and more often.
Sheriff Marlon Gillespie. I can't remember if it was him or one of those characters in the movie was actually played by. Do you remember who that main detective was? That came in?
James Garner.
Yes, very.
It's good. Like what a small world that is, that you just happened to throw out Maverick earlier.
Maverick himself, and we're not talking about Maverick from Top Gun. We're talking about Maverick.
Ooh, imagine how dreamy that would be. Ooh.
Anyway,
imagine Tom Cruise at the top of a forestry tower, shining a light down on you in his undies, like in Risky Business,
and a pair of sunglasses,
and socks.
And Bob Seger in the background.
Okay, that ruined it. I was like envisioning it, but then nope, sorry.
And then Rebecca De Mornay comes in.
Hey, maybe she's
preceded by another.
Okay, whatever. Okay, we're going off the rails here. Yeah,
I know, but
that's okay. That's what we do. The 5 men searched Turkey Springs until shortly after midnight, when the sheriff decided to pause the search until the following morning. Around 1:30 a.m., Navajo County Deputy Sheriff Kenneth Copland and Rogers visited Walton's mother. Now listen to this. According to Copland, when he informed her of her son's potential disappearance, she said, "Well, that's the way these things happen."
It's no big deal.
What? I mean, what? I mean, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Great mom. Well, so it's like maybe she knew what was going on, and it's like she was caught. Like, I don't know what to say.
Exactly. I would have rather had her. I would have rather have heard this from her.
I have nothing.
Right.
Yeah. If in doubt, just do what I do. I have nothing.
Now, obviously, Copland said he was shocked by how calmly Travis's mother appeared to take the news, and at her I cannot speak, and at her general lack of surprise.
Howdy hum, howdy hum.
Yes, okay. Would you like to come in for some tea?
Yeah.
Or moonshine, I don't know. Walton, his older brother Dwayne, and his mother were described by the sheriff as, quote, longtime students of UFOs. Because Travis's mother lived in a ranch house without telephone service, Rogers drove her into town so she could call Travis's brother Dwayne and their sister while Copland followed. So around 3 a.m. in the morning, Walton's mother called her daughter, which woke her up. And again, Deputy Copland reported being shocked at how well Travis's family took the news. At least they didn't, provide a quote of, well, that's how these things happen.
Well, here around these woods,
Right.
But I don't know.
Now, the following day, a search party of nearly 50 people scoured the Turkey Springs area, but failed to find Travis or any signs of an altercation or any evidence of anything going down. Law enforcement were surprised when, after a few hours, Travis's mother told them, quote, I don't think there is any use of looking any further. He's not around here. I don't think he's on this earth. Okay, what do you know there, mama?
The other day he did say.
I just don't like that.
Oh, mama.
Right. It's like, come on, can you at least, if this is a hoax, you're not helping. However, the following morning, November 8th, Rogers and Dwayne Walton complained in person about the discontinued search. So that's interesting. Mom calls it off and the brother is pissed off. So what's going on there?
And for what reason would this be called off? Why would she do that? I mean,
and why would Mike Rogers be pissed off by having this called off?
This is like that circumstantial stuff that just adds up too much. Where there's
let's think about that for a second, Mike. What pops in your brain? Okay, I'll play devil's advocate. This is a hoax. We'll just say this is a hoax. So why would, and if Dwayne and Mike were in on it, yeah, geez, better turn that off.
Holy criminy!
Holy cow!
That came up weird.
God, I thought Mike was going to poop his pants there for a second.
All of a sudden, there's a police scanner on my phone.
Oh, have you got it muted? Is it off?
It is, but
okay.
Wow, that's weird.
So, again, Mike, if this was a hoax, and Dwayne and Mike were in on it, why would they be pissed off that the search was discontinued? Yeah. Am I missing something here? Is my perspective just not providing a clear answer? Why would they want it to continue? Do they want it to continue to add credence to their story that he was abducted and there's nothing to be found? But that's like, well, already nothing has been found. So
it doesn't.
I'm confused there. Do you have a thought on that?
It just said it doesn't make any sense. I can't put it together in anything. There's no logic to it whatsoever.
Well, no real reasoning to it.
No, exactly.
Now, as a result of this complaint, Sheriff Gillespie actually assembled another search party, which included a helicopter this time. Of course, nothing was found. Regional papers covered the story on November 8th, and that day, a member of the Phoenix-based UFO interest group, recorded a 65-minute interview with crew chief Mike Rogers and older brother Dwayne. At no point during this interview, and now I'm reading this pretty much verbatim here, at no point during the interview did either express any fear or concern for Travis. Rather, they expressed confidence that Travis would be returned. So that adds to hoax. To me, it does. Am I wrong?
No, you're quite correct.
During the same interview. Go ahead.
You would think that they would at least play their parts.
Yes, like act like you're flipping concerned about your friend, about your brother.
Something, it's crazy.
During the interview, Rogers discussed the forestry contract, saying, "quote This contract we have is seriously behind schedule. In fact, Monday the time is up. We haven't done any work on it since Wednesday because of this thing, and therefore it won't be done. I hope they take that into account." So again, you're not helping yourself right there. You're just adding smoke to the hoax fire. You're saying we haven't been able to work since Travis has been gone. And we're so bummed and concerned and sad. And we want the search to continue so we can continue to not work. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Now, as I mentioned before, these contracts included acts of God, an act of God clause that excused contractors who were delinquent due to, quote, unforeseeable circumstances. It was during the same interview that Dwayne did, in fact, reveal that he and Travis and their mother were UFO buffs. And I want to say the brother in this interview, immediately after this, he says he and Travis and their mom were UFO buffs. Now, the recent interview I listened to with Mr. Travis Walton, when the interviewer asked him if he had any prior interest in UFOs or outer space or whatever, he said, no, not really. I'm like, okay, so where's the discrepancy there? Your brother said that you were a buff. Said the whole family were buffs. But now you're saying, no.
I'm waiting for the word buff again. In the buff.
In the buff.
In the buff, Bob.
Now, while saying that they're all buffs, there we go again, who had previously discussed that if they ever saw a UFO, they would, quote, immediately get directly under the object, which...
See, we said we would do this.
We would do this. If we ever saw one, we'd get directly underneath it. Because the, quote, opportunity to go aboard a UFO would be too great to pass up.
Depends on where they're going.
Dwayne repeatedly insisted that Travis was, quote, not even missing. He knows where he's at, and I know where he's at. What does that imply? Does that?
And these are quotes from the interview.
Yes, from the immediate interview.
Right. Man. Yeah.
Now, on November 9th, law enforcement continued to search for Travis until late afternoon when Walton's mother again requested the search to be halted. Now, by this time, stories of his disappearance were being published throughout the U.S., UK, and Canada. And on November 11th, the press reported that Travis's mother felt any further searching for Travis would be useless. On November 11th, also, Rogers and five other members of the forestry crew were interrogated by Arizona Department of Public Safety polygraph examiner C.E. Gibson to determine if the men had murdered Travis Walton. All denied having harmed Travis. Gilson opined that 5 out of the 6 men were being truthful and described results for the 6th man, one Alan Dallas, as inconclusive. Now, we have to point out, because it has been suggested that they had their polygraph tests.
Right.
It has to be pointed out that they were asked on polygraph tests if they had murdered Travis. And they said no, because they didn't. Because, well, I was going to say it was a hoax. I'm not saying it's a hoax. Not yet. So they're telling the truth there. They didn't murder the guy. So yeah, they pass it. So then they can say, hey, look over here. Look at us. We passed the polygraph test. Yay. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha.
Hoo-ha, hoo-ha. Right now, hoo-ha.
Apparently Al Pacino was there too.
Yeah.
Yes, and the whole Alan Dallas character is another interesting boy as well. But it was the next day, Mike, that Mr. Travis Walton on November 12th. He did, in fact, return, Mike, when he placed a collect call to his sister's home from a payphone in Heber, Arizona. The movie, I believe, portrayed him calling Mike first. And then they went and they drove off in the haste and the panic. And they found Mike. And again, this is the movie depiction. They found him naked and disheveled and being heavily rained upon, as they all were.
Shivering cold
with alien slime all over him.
Yeah, and like puncture wounds on his temples.
Oh, yeah, he did have a bunch. Yes, all over his eyes.
And his eyes, yeah. Very dry lips, I think.
Oh,
he was parched. He hadn't had food or water for all that time.
Yes, that's coming back to me. You know, and the thing is, I like the movie. I do.
Sure. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think as a movie. You know. Yeah. You just
it's very well acted. I think it's well acted. I think the music at some points is kind of hokey sounding, if I remember correctly, but it's
that's
good.
No big deal.
Oh boy. So he reached her husband, Grant Neff, who then drove to pick up Dwayne and proceeded to Heber to pick up Travis. Neff later reported he initially thought the caller, Travis, was intoxicated. As part of the collect call procedure, Travis told the operator his name. She recognized his name as that of the missing man and alerted Sheriff Gillespie.
James Garner.
This is Maverick. This is another interesting thing too. When Deputy Glenn Flake arrived at 2 a.m., he witnessed his brother, Travis's brother, Dwayne Walton, transferring fuel from one car to another after having forgotten to purchase gas before the local stations closed. I mean, whatever. I mean, if you're in a panic and you are sincere and you want to go find your brother who you thought was on an alien cruise for a little while, yeah, siphon some gas. I don't care.
But also showing great non-caring for what's going on at the same time.
He's not missing. He'll be, you know where he's at, and he's going to be back. Just ask my mama. I don't know why I gave them a drawling southern accent there. I apologize.
When this is quite northerly.
Yes. Deputy Flake did not reveal that they knew Travis had returned home, and Dwayne did not tell the deputy that Travis had, in fact, been found. Seeking medical attention for Travis, Dwayne reached out to a UFO researcher he'd met days prior. The researcher then referred them to one Dr. Lester Stewart, a hypnotherapist. Brother Dwayne took Travis to meet with Stewart, but his first words were that Travis needed a medical examination with lab tests and was not ready for hypnotic regression. Well, I mean, that's fair, of course.
Right.
Stewart did note that Travis seemed, quote, very confused, and reminded him of drug addicts that he had treated. Again, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, if he's been legit abducted by aliens, who the hell knows?
Well, they were alien gummies that they gave him. And
alien gummies?
Take one and don't go away for 2 weeks.
Alien syringes filled with who knows what.
Yep.
I mean, my gosh.
Well,
heroin from the outer limits of the solar system, I believe to be quite more potent. Let's see. Are you okay, Mike? Is your dog attacking you again? No, he's fine.
No, she's just guarding every window again.
Stewart noticed that Travis had a small lesion on the inside crease of his right elbow, consistent with intravenous drug use. Okay.
Or was it something medically or something done by the aliens in their
their examination process. And again, after meeting with Stewart, the Waltons returned to Dwayne's home where UFO researchers were there and arranged a house call by 2 medical doctors who are also amateur UFO investigators. Okay, well, listen to that. A house call by 2 medical doctors who just happen to be amateur UFO investigators.
Boy, there's some kind of conspiracy going on here.
Man alive, wow. So the doctors who happened to examine... I'm sorry, my voice just went through the stratosphere. The doctors who happened to be there also happened to have an interest in UFOs. Okay. And when they arrived at 3 p.m., Dwayne forbade them to use their camera or tape recorder, nor would he allow them to ask Travis any damn questions about what had happened.
No pictures.
Wait, what the hell?
No pictures. Well, he was traumatized. They didn't want to subject him to that right after he'd been through this horrifying ordeal that they know where he was at during.
Okay, you know what? A crazy thought just popped in my brain. Crazy.
Okay. Yes, let's hear it.
I'm going to say that Travis believes he's telling the truth. You know why? My crazy theory. He was a guinea pig in this entire hoax. We've heard reports of him being, quote unquote, essentially out of it that entire day there on the up on the slopes there of the forest, sleeping what he called as a hangover off in the truck or wherever the hell he was, where he reports about possible puncture wounds on the inside crease of his elbow. Crazy theory to pop in my brain, Mike. He is a guinea pig. He has been used by Mike Rogers. And perhaps they doped him up, Mike. They doped him up and they convinced him that he had been, in fact, abducted by UFOs. Or a UFO. Or some guy named Fred. Who knows? Crazy, I know, but that thought just popped in my brain. I want to throw out absolute wild, crazy conjectures because that's what pisses people off. So, what do you think?
So, and for what reason would they be doing this? Was this for the deflection of the
to add legitimacy to their claim?
Right.
And again, that seems like a lot extra hard work that's unnecessary, especially if Travis is also already a believer. So again, that's what I'm saying. It's just complete, utter nonsensical conjecture, but I wanted to throw it out there.
It's getting worse than a Marx Brothers movie, for crying out loud. Yay!
But again, Dwayne is
come out and start playing a harp.
But again, he's forbidding. I like that word. He forbade them from using any camera or tape recorder and would not allow them to ask Travis any damn questions at all. The doctors again noted the presence of apparent puncture marks and estimated to be around 24 to 48 hours old. Of course, stories have already had begun to spread around the town about Travis's his definite disappearance, but the reasons why his disappearance. After a local UFO group, Mike, facilitated a a connection between. I have to go back here. I accidentally skipped. I'm reading. I skipped something. I'm sorry, boys and girls. As I said, stories of Travis's disappearance had begun to circulate the town. Press began calling his brother in an attempt to reach Travis. Travis's brother finally informed law enforcement of Travis's return, calling Mr. Sheriff Gillespie, who insisted on seeing Travis immediately. The sheriff drove the 4 hours into Glendale. Now, they've been keeping his return away from the police. They've invited the doctors, who are also UFO investigators, to come visit him. But no one knew that he had been. Yes, no one knew. No one of authority had known that he had actually returned. The sheriff drove the 4 hours into Glendale and arrived at 11 p.m. Dwayne and Travis demanded that Sheriff Gillespie not record the interview. So again, do not record. Nay, I say nay to the recording. No, this is where I skipped it to this part. So resuming what I had begun, after a local UFO group facilitated the connection, Dwayne and Travis moved into a suite at the Sheraton Inn in Scottsdale. Mike, the costs were covered by the National Enquirer. I almost called you Mike because I was going to say the costs were covered, but the cost, Mike, of their stay at the Sheraton Inn was covered by the National Enquirer, bud. See, Mishka agrees. In exchange for exclusive access to Walton and his story. On November 14th, Travis skipped a polygraph interview with police, but that night, in the presence of Enquirer reporters, a doctor associated with a UFO group had a 2-hour conversation with a hypnotized Travis about the incident. Now, Mike is standing up, and all I see is his elbow. What's going on? Are you being one with the lathe, as your shirt suggests?
Throw a rock at my dog. No, I didn't.
Did you?
She, she's so overprotective when it comes to anything out walking in front of the side, in the house in the side.
I know. I've witnessed it.
Yes, you cannot keep a Great Pyrenees from doing their job.
Their job.
Yeah, but anyway.
Now, again, the following day, November 15th, Travis was interviewed by Jack McCarthy, a freelance polygraph examiner, arranged by the UFO group and the Enquirer.
Yes.
But, however, Mr. McCarthy concluded that Travis was engaged in a, quote, gross deception, and had even been intentionally holding his breath in an attempt to beat the machine.
Beat the machine.
Beat the machine. The following week, Travis appeared on Phoenix television station KOOL, where he was interviewed. Cool. Where he was
interviewed. You are listening to Phoenix television station KOOL.
Cool.
Next, we have the Travis Walton story. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yes, sir. Travis claimed that he had lost consciousness when struck by a beam of light, and that he awoke in a hospital-like room, being observed by 3 short, bald creatures. He says that he fought with it.
We welcome you. Anyway. Sorry. I had to throw that out.
I don't know. I'm seeing like 3 Billy Bardys all of a sudden.
Hey, he was a hell of an actor.
Oh, he was great.
Awesome.
Talented SOB.
What a life he lived too, as well. But anyway. I digress.
Travis says that he fought with them until a human wearing a helmet led Walton to another room where he blacked out, as 3 other humans put a clear plastic mask over his face. Walton said that he remembers. Yeah, hey.
Yeah, the humans call. Wearing a helmet. They had Evil Knievel on the side with American flag.
Why not?
Anyway.
Well, it's not maybe a KISS emblem. Hey, they're just gaining fame then. 1970.
No, back then Evil Knievel was a hell of a lot bigger than KISS. Believe me.
Probably. Well, maybe Little House on the Prairie then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Picture of Pa Ingalls. Walton has said that he remembers nothing else until he found himself walking along a highway 5 days later, with the flying saucer departing above him. Now, his story about what he saw when he awoke up aboard the craft has been fairly consistent. It's always been 3 beings, and he says that he immediately, either falls off to the right or jumped up towards the left. Which people who are too picky about it, they point out those discrepancies. But you gotta let those slide. I mean, my gosh. 45 years ago, I stepped to my right. No, you didn't. You stepped to your left. Well, that was 45 years ago.
Hologram.
Yes.
And you stepped backwards.
And his experience, from what he recalls, is pretty mundane when it comes to the details. Because that's basically it. That's what he has always said, and that's all you're going to get. And that's why the movie Fire in the Sky goes way overboard in its depiction. Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I think it's well done. I mean, it's entertaining, and it's definitely it's creepy. So now, again, Mike, this is where we just we're going to start going. I know we're running kind of late here, but we have to talk about. We mentioned briefly before we aired the Rogers and Walton dispute, which drives me absolutely nuts, because Mike Rogers has been basically supportive of Travis and his story ever since day one, up until 2021, Mike, when apparently Travis was in negotiations with perhaps selling his story again for another movie to be made, and Mr. Mike Rogers was not involved in this. So Mr. Mike Rogers, who had been a believer, a supporter, an experiencer, decides to post on social media.
He was butthurt.
That I, this is a quote, I, Michael H. Rogers, being of sound and rational mind, do hereby give notice that I am no longer to be considered a witness to Travis C. Walton's supposed abduction on November 5th, 1975. Travis tried to keep a new remake of the movie a secret from me. He has always had his big secrets that he has kept from me. It angered me. I tried over the last 2 weeks to reason with him, but of no avail. I don't believe Travis is an honest person, therefore I want nothing to do with him.
Well, and that whole statement that he made there, it sounds like he's so vindictive,
Exactly.
It's like,
jealous.
You made me mad. I'm going to get you back.
Hetty,
and I'm going to say something to the media, and you're... I'm getting soured on this freaking story.
What is more aggravating, Mike, is that he recants that, or he pulls back on that years later, and all of a sudden they're hunky-dory again, or he claims to be hunky-dory with them. He's like, by the way...
I forgot.
Yeah.
God.
So, Mike, as I told you before we started recording, Mike Rogers is a liar because both stories that he has said cannot be true, right?
Yeah. He's a thrice-time liar, I'm sure.
So that's what drives me insane. If this is legit, he's absolutely adding fuel to the pseudo-skeptics' fire.
Oh, absolutely.
By being so non-committal all of a sudden to this alleged incident. And when money's involved and when he's afraid of losing out on a chance of money, nope, it's a hoax. Travis is a liar. But then when the opportunity arises to perhaps cash in again, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. We're all buddy again. And yes, it really did happen. And in fact, those quotes that you can find on YouTube in my audio interviews, which, by the way, I'm going to share those quotes. Now, April 30th, Mr. Michael Rogers placed a call to the producer of this film, Mr. Ryan Gordon. This is when after he posted his original social media rant where he's saying, I want nothing to do with it. He then called the producer of this movie in the making, which to my knowledge hasn't gone any further than that. Gordon recorded their phone call without Rogers' knowledge, which is permitted by Arizona law. I mean, it's kind of shady in its own aspects, but hey, whatever.
Well, it's done all the time.
2 months later, after their conversation on July 4th, Gordon publicly posted audio from the call, which features Rogers. This is a quote, and I've heard this, and I hope that you've looked this up, Mike, and listened to it as well. Because again, it's kind of Mike just bumbling and rambling, and it's kind of, but I'll read it to you. This is a quote. We were talking in the woods one day. We were talking about creating a UFO hoax, okay? I don't know how the UFO got there, but I remember when I was driving the truck and he jumped out, it was all deliberate. It was all a staged thing, okay? He ran up there and there was something about the UFO not being real, although it looked real. Okay, first off, that's like such a hard to follow quote.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what are you saying? Something about the UFO not being real, although it looked real. What does that mean? It doesn't matter. The main quote, we were talking about creating a UFO hoax. Bam. But recent interviews with Mr. Mike Rogers, he claims that the audio was digitally manipulated by Ryan Gordon.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that was important step that had to be taken.
And he is adamant about that. But again, and I highly encourage listeners, if you're interested in this, just type in Mike Rogers Walton incident interview, and you'll get all sorts of audio, including this original quote and his fairly recent claims that they were digitally manipulated and edited to make him look like that's what he said. It's so hard to follow him because he keeps stopping and stammering, and he doesn't do himself any favors, in my point of view, in my opinion. Again, it's like I've always said too, my analogy, my example goes back, Mike, I'm a baseball fan. It goes back to the steroid trial of the late 1990s. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, and the like were all put on trial for the big steroid push.
Yeah, that's right.
And everyone knew they were on roids. And when Mark McGwire was his term to come up and talk about the alleged steroid abuse, he just looked at him and he said, I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm here to talk about the future. Now, if he was sincere, if he was a legit non-user of steroids, he should have been screaming from the mountaintops and saying, I did not do this. But no, he just said, I'm not here to talk about the past. That's what this kind of reminds me of. This Mike Rogers interview, this late one, where he cannot clearly finish the sentence and clearly say, no, this guy has manipulated my interview and I am telling the damn truth, and I always have been, other than the social media post that he himself posted that said he wants nothing to do with it. I'm getting winded.
I think he's in cahoots with Philip J. Klass, I bet. I wonder.
But he mentions him, and he cannot stand Mr. Klass. He can't.
Well,
so
he
said he's got
they
that.
Have dinner together.
He's got that going for him. Now, briefly, Mike, before we have to wrap it up, we do need to mention that forestry tower theory.
Yes.
Where a lot of the non-believers and the believers in the hoax think that it was absolutely set up by Rogers and members of the crew. Members of the crew not only did they state that Travis was lethargic and passed out for hours during that last day on the work site, they also say that Mike mysteriously took off for 2 hours at minimum.
Yep, that's
no rhyme or reason, no notification, and
nobody knew what happened, where he went.
And they always followed the same route, Mike, out of their work site.
Yeah, the same road to leave to go home.
Leave to go home, but for whatever reason, on this night they took a different route, and this different route happens to be in the daylight. You can see it. That's right nearby this ginormous forest tower, Mike, with the 200 fair square observatory up there, whatever you want to call it, living space. Just happen to drive by that, which just happens to have massive strobe lights up there, which just happens to be fairly well hidden by heavy tree lines.
Shrubbery.
What do you think, Mike? If this were, if the forestry tower is part of this hoax, and Travis did jump out, well, then that blows out the window my crazy theory that Travis was in fact doped up and not, he was fooled himself, which I admit is dumb conjecture, but I threw it out there anyways. So Travis, if this forestry tree theory is true, Mike is in on it. Travis is in on it for sure. Possibly another forestry crew member.
They had to have access to the tower.
Mike Rogers in that same interview said that Dwayne was part of the elaborate setup. Travis's brother Dwayne. Maybe Dwayne was up in the tower. Maybe he was running the strobe lights.
Big disco ball hanging in the middle.
A big disco ball hanging. My brain is just getting flustered thinking about it, Mike. We've covered this pretty in depth. What your vibes on this? I'm not going to even look at references anymore. I just want to dive into our opinions right now.
And still, if the whole, forestry tower, fire tower, whatever it is, if that was used as this hoax or whatever it was that still perpetuating and giving more credence to that story of, not getting their job done? Is that still why this is supposedly being done? I mean, if it is or whatever, it's too crazy. It's like a freaking roller coaster that it doesn't make sense from segment to segment, because I mean, there's like so many segments in this that I don't know. This is a story that I have known about I've known about it, Patrick, for many
You've
years.
known about it.
But, and I always wanted to believe that this is a true story. This really happened. I always knew that it wasn't all. The movie was exaggerated greatly, had to be. But, in the belief that I have that in these other worlds and beings, whatever, I would love for something like that to be true, something to actually happen, not for what the guy had to go through. And that's how I grew up hearing this story. And then now there has been so much doubt that is put into my head that I still can't understand why I haven't heard these things before. I don't know when these came out, these theories and that, but it disappoints me, and I can no longer, say that I deeply believe in this account.
That's just hard for you to say, isn't it? I can see the pain on your face.
Well, it's that, and
there's other pain.
But anyway, the
disappointment in your face. How's that?
Yeah, and and it's theory also. I mean, there was so many weird things that were said that you have to take into account. But it's so convoluted that you don't know what to believe. You don't know which direction to take.
Right.
Different
That's a
things.
great way of describing it. Convoluted.
But
just the recant on Mike Rogers alone that's the huge sticking point.
Yeah.
For me, that bugs me.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be pointed out too that Travis Walton did fail a polygraph test.
Mm-hmm.
And he was called out on that. That's another fascinating interview you can find. Travis is being interviewed by the one and only Geraldo Rivera back in the 1970s. Rivera. And there is another. Who is it? There's another.
He's been on Joe Rogan, which would be a good one to listen to. I haven't heard that.
For sure.
But it'd be interesting to hear what his take is on that show.
But it's interesting though. I mean, basically immediately following this abduction, he failed at least one polygraph, at least one. He's called out on it by another guest when he's being talked to by Mr. Do. But Travis, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever he's calling. But his defense was that the interview was done too soon, and he was still in a high elevated state of anxiety and all.
That's why Dwayne forbade him to be talked to.
Yes.
And
yes.
No pictures.
So again, I highly suggest, if you are interested in this, go listen to all of those interviews and decide for yourself. Don't listen to us.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, listen to us. Dang it.
Listen to us talk about it, but don't take our opinions with any weight behind them for sure. But I will say that this has really soured my viewpoint.
It has.
Not our discussion, not our discussion, but Mike Rogers has really soured my view on this. Not even Travis. I mean, because Travis, for the most part, is, stuck to his guns for the most part. But the fact that the family were all UFO buffs, some of the quotes that they said before the abduction, the mom's reaction, that's how these things go. Okay, Mom. It just really, really sours my viewpoint, and I can't say I'm a believer. I cannot say I'm a believer in this incident.
Right. I can have a little bit of a thread of, what if? But it's a thread.
Well, I still have that what if.
Exactly.
And that you know what that what if is?
What's that?
It's Mike Rogers again. Mike Rogers is he's the biggest nail in my skeptical coffin, or as far as this case goes, but also because the fact that he may in fact had been so bitter and so petty that he decided to call out Travis and say that the whole incident was a hoax because he was losing out on money. That's the only way that I'm kind of leaving a glimmer of hope that this is legit. This is because, well, maybe Mike Rogers is just, I was going to call him kind of slimy, but yeah, I'll say it. Kind of slimy. Not,
Well,
you can't
can
take
have
him
our
for his
opinion.
word. Well, yeah, but it's like when you sit there and you say one thing and then you recant it and then you go and you change back to your original statement. Well, you're caught in a lie at some point.
At the very least, he's quite wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy. Hopefully he has washed since 1975. Yes. Well, yeah. Mike, holy cow, this is like our longest episode in a long time. We better wrap it up here, buddy. This has been fantastic. Yeah. Yes, I love it. Any final parting shots, Mike, before we say goodnight for this evening? Thank you very much, everybody who has tuned in and listened to us. If you made it this far, God bless you. My gosh, more power to you. You are troopers. You are warriors. And we can't thank you enough. If you enjoy the podcast and you like to support us, no better way than to give our Patreon page a shot. You can sign up for as little as $1 a month. We are nearing 500 exclusive posts, including well over 100 exclusive Patreon episodes. Mike, that's including our true crime podcast, Wicked Legacies, as well as our pop culture podcast, Retro and Randoms. Yeah, I think you guys will enjoy both of those. Give them a shot. Again, no obligations. You don't like it, you can take off. Yes, and we are on our way to getting into the groove of the next true crime episode. Yes, 100%. Yes, so absolutely, that shall be coming forthwith. Yes, I like that. Hey, you sounded very regal there when you said that. Yes. This shall be coming forthwith, and we shall convene in this secular place of conversation. Okay. All right, that's enough. That's enough. Enough of that. Yeah, yes, right. Okay, Mike, thank you so much, buddy. One last request. Do you have time? Do you mind conjuring up an AI image for this episode? Oh, yeah. I shall do that. Could you send that to me ASAP, and I'll get the episode yeah. Well, wait for me this time, for crying out loud. The last time I was doing that, I already did it. I had something from before. It's like, well, screw you then, you dip. Well, no, I created one. I didn't do something. Give me a chance to do it. Well, it was already running late. Okay, fine. I'll wait for you. Jeez. But you make these shows last so dang late, and then I got to go. I still got to cook pork chops. Oh, dang it. Do you want me to make one? I'll make one myself. No, I want to do it. Okay. Mary will cook. She'll do that for me. Mike. I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody. Calm down. Just remember. I got feeling for you. So it's all good.